All right, let's be real for a second. You send a text, you're feeling good about it, and then you wait. An hour goes by, then three, and what you get back is a single word, maybe just an emoji. You're the one putting in all the effort, making all the plans, and all you're getting back is that weird sinking feeling in your stomach. It's totally draining, right? It makes you question everything.
You know that feeling? Constantly checking your phone, rereading your own messages, wondering what you did wrong? That anxiety, that's a massive red flag. It's basically your gut telling you that the whole dynamic is way off balance. You're investing so much more than you're getting back, and it's just chipping away at your confidence.
You know, we're always told to be persistent, right? To show more interest, to try harder. But what if that's the very thing that's actually pushing her away? This is the wild idea we're going to dig into today. That strategically pulling back isn't just some clever tactic, it might just be the most powerful move you can possibly make.
So, let's put a name to this incredibly frustrating cycle. This pattern of always being the one pursuing isn't just bad luck, it's a specific dynamic. And you know, just recognizing it is the first step to getting out of it. We're going to call it the chaser trap. And it's this weird place where all your good intentions, being nice, showing you're interested, somehow lead to the exact opposite of what you want.
This is the trap in a nutshell. She pulls back a little, maybe she's busy, whatever, so you lean in harder to try and close that gap. But that extra pressure you're applying just makes her pull back even more. It's this vicious feedback loop that absolutely kills attraction, because you end up constantly seeking her approval instead of, approving of yourself.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. Look at this disconnect. You think you're coming across as caring and confident. You're just trying to show you like her. But from her side of the screen, that very same behavior can easily come across as needy, desperate, or like you don't have any other options. This gap between what you intend and how she perceives it is where attraction just goes to die.
Let's just be super blunt about it, because this is the whole key. Nothing, and I mean nothing, repels attraction faster than neediness. It basically sends a signal that you lack self-worth. And attraction, at its core, is tied to how much we value ourselves. It tells her that you see her as the prize, and you've completely forgotten that you're supposed to be the prize too.
Okay, so if chasing is the problem, what on earth is the solution? Well, the answer is in creating what we'll call strategic space. But this takes a huge shift in your mindset. And I have to be crystal clear here. This is not, I repeat, not about giving someone the silent treatment. That's toxic, it's manipulative. This is something else entirely.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. We are not talking about playing mind games or being cruel or trying to punish someone with silence. No way. This is about understanding the actual psychology of attraction. It's about reclaiming your own self-respect and, most importantly, shifting your focus away from her and back onto your own life, your own purpose.
So why does this actually work? It's not magic, it's psychology. It taps into these fundamental pillars of what makes someone attractive. People are drawn to value, someone who has a full, interesting life of their own. They're drawn to self-respect, someone who has boundaries and won't sell themselves short. And yeah, they're drawn to a little bit of mystery, which is really just the space for them to wonder about you. When you're constantly chasing, you eliminate all three of those things.
All right, enough with the theory. Let's get practical. How do you actually do this stuff without coming across like a jerk? Well, it all breaks down into 3 actionable shifts. These are the things that will help you reclaim your power in pretty much any dating dynamic. We're going to walk through these one by one. It's a simple progression. First, we have to change how we think. Second, we change how we communicate. And third, we change what we actually do with our time and energy. Let's jump into the first one.
So the first shift is all internal. It happens in your head. Almost all over-pursuit comes from a scarcity mindset, this deep-down belief that she's your only shot at happiness. You have to flip that switch to abundance. And you do that by genuinely building a life you actually love. Go to the gym, see your friends, work on your goals. Your mindset will naturally shift from, oh man, I hope she texts me, to, my schedule's kind of packed, I hope she can fit in. And trust me, she will feel that change in your energy.
Okay, the second shift is in how you communicate. And the rule is super simple. Mirror her level of investment. Don't chase. If she sends you a one-word text like, hey, don't respond with a giant paragraph. If she takes 8 hours to get back to you, you do not need to reply in 8 seconds. You have a life, remember. This isn't about being passive-aggressive, it's just about setting a baseline of mutual respect and equal footing.
And that brings us to the third and honestly maybe the most important shift of them all. A man who is obsessed with his mission is infinitely more attractive than a man who's obsessed with a woman.
Your purpose, whether that's your career, learning a skill, building a business, that should always be your #1 priority.
When you are truly focused on things like this, you become naturally scarce. You're not pretending to be busy, you are busy. You're busy building something important. Your time becomes valuable because you're actually using it to create a better version of yourself. And that is what builds a life that a high-value woman actually wants to be a part of.
Now, I need to pause here for a second and get really serious. There is a dark side to these ideas if they're misused. This is not a license to become cold or manipulative. We have to talk about the ethical line here, because if you cross it, you're just going to destroy relationships.
Let's be 100% clear on this. The silent treatment, or what's called stonewalling, is a well-known form of emotional abuse. It's used to punish and control people, and it creates terrible anxiety. That is absolutely not what we are talking about here. This strategy is about self-respect, not about manipulation, period.
So the crucial takeaway is this. The goal here is not to trap someone into chasing you. It's to filter for the right partner. The right person for you will respect your time, they'll respect your boundaries, because they'll see that you respect yourself. This strategy doesn't push the right person away. It actually draws them in, but for all the right reasons.
So let's bring it all together. This whole process is really about a transformation. It's about fundamentally changing your position in the dating world, moving from being the person who chases to being the person who gets chosen, the prize.
And it all starts by making a very conscious decision. You have to stop pouring all of your time, your attention, and your emotional energy into your phone just waiting for validation from somebody else.
Instead, you take all that wasted energy and you redirect it. You pour it back into your own life, your health, your goals, your passions. You build a life that's so awesome, it doesn't need anyone else to complete it.
And that's the ultimate result. When you stop needing someone else's text message to feel good about yourself, you take back all your power. You become a man who doesn't need to chase, because his value and his full life naturally attract the right people to him.
So, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Have you actually experienced this firsthand? Maybe you got busy with a project, pulled back a little without even trying, and saw a complete 180-degree shift in how someone treated you. It's a pretty powerful dynamic when you see it in action. Something to think about.